Now, pop star Adele has revealed that after her long-anticipated Vegas residency, which begins in November, she's going to be taking a break from the music world and she plans on going to university to complete an English literature degree. Now, Linda, we're just thinking about you. Obviously, you've been working since you were a kid. What age were you, 10?
10 when I started, yeah.
Yeah. Would you ever have thought of doing that, taking a break and maybe going back to education?
Not really, because I worked all the way through, like my teens and everything, but I never... I mean, I used to bunk off school all the time, so I never got any exam results or anything. I was never there, to be honest. And then at school, because I started acting from such a young age, I was doing series with Pauline Quirk, like, when we were teens and whatever. And so if I was ever late for school, they'd always put, oh, just because you're on the telly, that means you can turn up whatever time you want. And so everything went back down to just because you're on the telly. When I was just a normal child that sometimes was late for school and whatever. But I do wish I'd been more educated, because I didn't really get any exams or anything, because I was too busy bunking off and smoking in the background.
I mean, do you think you missed out?
Like, looking back now, so during my teens and that, when I was working, like, sometimes I did a play once called The Case of the Middle-Aged Wife. It was an Agatha Christie play, and there was all, like, posh sort of Shakespearean actors there. So her name was Gwen Taylor and Peter Barkworth, I think his name was. And I was, like, a kitchen maid, and they actually treated me a bit like a kitchen maid. They went, you wouldn't pop to the shop, Dolly, would you, and get me a loaf of bread, or would you get me a sandwich or whatever? And in those days, I did, you know, like, because I felt like I was, like, actually working in the kitchen. And they were treating me like that as well, really. I mean, they weren't horrible, but they just thought, you know, because that's the part I was playing, that's what I was really like. Whereas if they said that to me now, then I wouldn't run to the shop. I said, go and get your own blooming shopping, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how... So it made you feel a little bit...
Yeah, that I
kind of
less. Sometimes they'd be talking about a Shakespearean play, and I wouldn't have a clue what they were talking about, so I would just keep quiet. Whereas nowadays, I go, tell me a bit about it then. What happened then? Tell me. You know, like, whereas now as I'm older, I'm more confident and I'm not scared, because I'm not stupid, but I'm just streetwise. I'm not educated, that's all. So yeah, I do wish I was a bit more educated.
Yeah. Carol, you've never felt like that, have you?
Oh, thanks.
No, I'm going to clarify that. No, but you've never felt... Because, I mean, you've said before you didn't go to university, but you don't feel lesser because of it.
No, I don't at all, actually, no. And I when I was at school, I did the 11+, as you did back then, and I passed with flying colours, and all the school was really happy about it, and they told my mum and said, you know, do you want to go to grammar school? Because there was always places then. My mum gave me the choice. Do you want to go to the grammar school or not? And I don't know, a lot of people would say it was a stupid decision to make, or even to give to me to make. But I just didn't want to go. I wanted to go to the same school as my sister. And also, the terrible thing is, and this is true, I know it was very childish, but the uniform was brown. And I didn't want a brown uniform. I just didn't like it. And anyway, my mum, I thought, was secretly grateful for that, because the uniform was really, really expensive to go to the grammar school. I mean, she could never have afforded it. And, OK, school, for me, was a bit of a waste of time. I didn't really get any exams either, but I don't feel like I missed out at all, because I had to go to work. All I wanted to do was work, earn money, so that I could go out and start living my life. And I don't ever look back at that and go, oh, I regret that. I should have gone and might be a lawyer.
The interesting thing about Adele is that she went back to it. And, like, Judy, you went back to it, didn't you?
Yeah, my first degree I did because I had a child. And I thought to myself, I need something a little bit more stable. Like, and you know, at school I was the class clown, and secondary school, when I went to college and started and stopped, I always knew there was something different about how I read things and how I learned, and then found out I was dyslexic. So I think for me, going to university, which is not for everybody, it was definitely a fighting my own insecurities and knowing that there's certain things that would be restricted to me, you know, being working class, being black. I felt like it was something I had to do to put myself on a bit of a stool to have a bit more opportunities. And then I went back and did my masters. And again, that was me trying to prove to myself. You know, I still have issues with reading certain things and spelling certain things, but education does not necessarily, you know, equal to intelligence. You cannot have education and still be intelligent. But I think I wanted to just push past the labels and change the narrative, especially as being a single mum. I wanted my kids to know that there's no excuse. And to be honest, with my children, I've made it very, very clear. I don't speak about them going to university like it's a choice.
Really?
I just speak about... No, I did a choice. No, I'm just like, yeah, so when you go to uni, I've kind of...
What
like,
if they don't want to go? I mean, really
I
want to go?
don't hear about no want to go. It doesn't count. I'll say, look at the stats and the statistics, you're going. It's just... I find, you know, many cultures are different. Within the Nigerian culture, there's no conversation about whether you're going or if you want to go. It's seen as something, just a natural progression. And although I'm West Indian and African descent, I want the same for my children to feel like that's just a standard procedure. Don't get me wrong, for everybody, it's not about that. And maybe on reflection, sometimes I'm projecting my own fears or previous insecurities, but I just want them to have every opportunity they can. And as well, doing a degree, it's not about just a certificate. I feel like for me, it made me realise I could commit to something for 3 years.
Yeah.
I could...
We can focus.
I could focus.
Yeah, which I
could
can't
type
do,
up and
yeah.
write something, and it's got transferable skills, you know. But I want him to leave the house and mummy can get her life back and go for 3 years and, you know...
now we've got to the bottom.
Yeah. Hopefully they're not... Oh, no, my son's at home. Turn over the channel, babe. Turn over the channel.
Get out.
Do you know what I mean? I want them to experience... I want them to go out and travel and do...
No, you gave yourself away, Judy. Sorry, good try. You did give yourself away.